a little. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kayla Marie and I make topic videos, spirituality videos, or whatever you want to call it. And y'all, today we're going to be talking all about transmuting energy, okay, being an alchemist. We're going to talk about alchemy, all of that, okay? My story, my testimony, the things that I've been through and how I've turned them into, turn lemons into lemonade, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. We're not gonna waste any time. But I want to talk about a little bit what that even means to transmute energy, to be an alchemist. First of all, if you haven't read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, you should definitely read it. It's an amazing read, especially if you deem yourself to be someone more spiritual or you want to learn more about spirituality. I would definitely start with The Alchemist. That's a really good book that you can read, and it'll teach you about what I'm talking about today, but in a very poetic, artistic, storytelling way. I love it. It's like kind of like an old fable if you were to... Anyway, we'll get into that, okay? So, to be an alchemist, I looked it up online on Google, but I'm also going to give you, of course, my own definition too. But alchemy essentially is like a form of like sorcery, but in reality it's like transforming. So anything that speaks to transformation, creation, or combination, okay? And so to me, alchemy is transforming like your circumstances, taking the cards you've been dealt and playing your hand, just literally using what it is that you have and what you know and turning it into something better that works out for you, for the greater good of other people, whatever the case may be. That to me is what alchemy is, what transmuting energy is. So just taking things that might be deemed undesirable unto you and turning it into something that works for you. That's probably your strongest skill set, or something that allows you to have what it is that you didn't have before, essentially. Okay. And so now I'm going to go ahead and kind of tell you guys some things that I've been through and how I kind of used it to, I guess, turn my situation around for the better of me, how I kind of developed the perspective that I have today based on the things that I've been through. And so, yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight. Just a fair warning, it's going to get really vulnerable. And this is something that is very difficult for me at times. I am trying to work on being more vulnerable and being my authentic self, because this is me. Okay, this is my story, my truth, my life, I guess. And I want to show people the real and like tell people the real, because I don't ever want to hide, I guess, what I've been through or things that I have experienced in my life, because I know it can help other people. Because I know that there have been people that have told their story and I'm like, dang, I've been through that, or dang, like they're so strong for that. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of insight, so let's get into it. Okay, so a little bit of background about me and like little things that I've been through. So growing up, I was in a household that has divorced parents. My parents are divorced, and I never really thought anything of it. I'm like, oh, like that's whatever. Like a lot of people's parents are divorced, but it actually is a huge thing as a kid, because I was going from house to house. And while, mind you, my parents are amazing. I love my parents so, so much. I have an amazing relationship with my mom and my dad. And they are so mature and so good with their co-parenting. So I never had to worry too much about like any toxic things or anything like that. But it still does affect you growing up, because I feel like to have two parents in a household, like I will never know what that's like, and I will never be able to know what it's like to see two people in love and raising you, And I think that even though my parents loved me individually and they raised me well, I would say that it still does have an impact on a child, because it just does. Like, it really plays into the relationships you get into, the way that you kind of think and the way you move around in life. And I'm gonna get into that too. Okay, so I had divorced parents, and so I think me and my sister are 6 years apart, and so I experienced loneliness from like a very young age. Like, I my sister would play with me for a lot, but at the same time, my sister kind of had her own things. You know, growing up as a teenager and just growing up in general, it can have some. Oh my goodness. I am just realizing that, y'all, hold on. My orientation, it's the other way. Hold on, let me turn my camera around. I guess then I would have to. Oh, okay. Boom. I'm just gonna have it like that because I did not even realize. Oh, let me. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize it was turned the wrong way. Okay, this is how the video is gonna go for the rest of the video. I did not realize I had y'all like turned the wrong way. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, y'all, I experienced loneliness from a young age. Just for me being the youngest and like having such a big age gap between me and my sister, and then my parents being divorced and moving from house to house, it was a lot. So I just kind of experienced a lot of loneliness, and from a young age, I had to kind of figure out things that I could do that would make me happy, or that I could do that would, I guess, kind of, I don't know, like how would they try it, and that was the best option. Hold on, let me see if I can see these comments. I always wanted that traditional family unit structure, but I still have see, yeah, it definitely does affect people. It affects kids, it really does. But I will say, just me having to like have all that going on at a young age, it did teach me how to prioritize my happiness, how to I guess transmute at a very young age, like transmuting energy. And like if I'm lonely, I'm like, okay, I'll go play outside or I'll play with my dolls, or I'll write in my journal. Been journaling since I was very, very, very small. Like I've had a journal ever since I basically could write. And so I think that that's something that kind of I was blessed with by God, I guess, just understanding from a young age, like this is something that I can do when I'm feeling overwhelmed, or when I'm sad, or when I am experiencing loneliness, or whatever I was going through at that young age. Okay, so fast forward to middle school, high school. That was more like elementary school. Middle school, high school, experienced loneliness a lot. Like when you talk about being lonely, like it's one thing to be alone and you're lonely because it's like, oh, I'm lonely because I'm alone. But when you're surrounded by people all the time, especially like if you're in high school, you're always around people. You're always around your teachers, you're always in class, you're always around your peers, you're always around people. But I experienced a lot of loneliness still. And even having like in elementary school, I had a big group of friends. Middle school had a big group of friends. High school had a pretty decent group of friends, like a good size compared to like me growing up and being this age. I'm like, dang, that was a lot of people. And I still, even still in that, I had moments where I was like, I don't think these people understand me, or I don't think we're here with it. I don't think they have like the same morals as me. But as you get, like when you're in high school and when you're in middle school, you have to make it work because those are your classmates, and like y'all have to spend years on end with each other moving forward. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I got, and I'm gonna work with it. And not to say that I didn't have close friends. I did form very close friendships, but as you're young, you form friendships as it pertains to proximity, not interest, or like, I mean, you can form them as if when it pertains to like interest, but like for the most part, it's proximity. And so I knew when I was a senior, y'all, like I was like, I will be happy if I remain friends with these people. But a lot of the times I felt like I was just ready to graduate because I wanted to just find myself and just, I think it's just so much better to be on your own and figure yourself out than to be around people that you don't really feel welcomed, you don't feel included, you don't feel understood around. I would say that it's so much better to be lonely by yourself than it is to be with other people, because that's even more sad. Like, why am I alone? Why do I feel alone and I'm with people? You know, that's not a good thing. So even at me being 18 years old, 17 years old, I was like, I am ready. I'm ready to go, because I was just feeling like a kid again, like feeling that loneliness of like, oh my gosh, where's my place? Like going back and forth from homes, it's like you don't really feel like you have like a centered, stable environment. And so I was just like tired of that. And so, yeah, that was middle school and high school. I started my YouTube channel when I was 15 in high school because of loneliness. I felt like I wanted somebody to talk to. I wanted to be able to, I guess, have people. And so I started my YouTube and it grew crazy, 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 crazy. The first video I ever made was how to be confident. And then I started getting into hair videos, and that was what really took my channel, like if, took off or whatever. So I was doing that for a little bit, and then while that was happening, I loved YouTube. I was posting. If I ever had free time, I was posting. I was making videos. I was editing, and it was just the most fun thing ever to me. And I had a little community. That was so different for me. I went from not really feeling like I could relate to people, not feeling included, not feeling like I belonged anywhere, to having this whole group of people that, hope you're doing, oh, thank you, to having a whole group of people that are supporting me, that love me, that I don't even really know personally, that are rooting for me. It was so interesting, and it really gave me what I needed to keep going. Honestly, there were so many times I've read my past journals, and there were so many times where in middle school, elementary school, high school, that I was just I'm done. I don't want to be here. I don't like this. I don't want to do this. What is this? I don't life for me. I was I felt so detached at times, just feeling who signed me up for this? Oh, okay. I did. Okay. I don't, I was so confused. There were so many times where I was just this is not it. I did not like being alive at times. And I feel I've always been somebody that was very bubbly. I've always been somebody that was very much trying to give people advice and trying to uplift them and be there for them, because I felt I didn't have that sometimes. I felt I didn't have somebody that was whatever. I did, in my family and my close friends and stuff like that, but there were just, again, it was more of a mindset thing of me feeling alone and me feeling people didn't understand me. And then there's also some things that happened that kind of confirmed that to me, but I'm not gonna get into that. But anyway, so yeah, so that was that. I have my YouTube channel, and so that was something that I started doing. Then after that, I would say during high school, I was in a lot of relationships. Not at multiple times, but so when I was 15, I was in a relationship. I got in my first ever relationship. Then after I broke up, after that happened, I got into another one. Then after that, I got into another one. And they were just back to back to back, y'all. Back to back to back. And it didn't happen purposely. And I was young at the time. And so to me, I was just oh, these people are here. Why not? You don't know any better, so you just kind of go with the flow. And I also, I don't know, at a young age, I kind of mastered, I guess, detaching from people too. Detaching from people, not only detaching from them, but being able to forgive them and actually truly heal and feel, I guess, ready to step into a new relationship. So I was just getting into them back to back to back. Didn't realize until it was too late that that was not good for me, and I had to actually look back and oh my goodness, just, I guess, unpack all of the things that I had been through in those relationships. And I realized that a lot of those relationships were really just a reflection, goes back to my childhood, of me growing up in a divorced home, growing up in a, I guess, not traditional family dynamic. And so I'm seeing ooh, y'all, it's deep. We gonna get into it, I guess. Well, I kind of want to make a video about relationships and love and my perspective on dating and stuff. So I think I might save that. Well, I guess I can talk about it a little bit. But I think that, y'all, when it comes to relationships, I have been not treated the best. I'm not even gonna lie. And it really did take a toll on me at that young age, just having not the best experiences with people that you love really dearly. Y'all already know, your first heartbreak is it's brutal because your heart has literally never felt something like that. It felt like physical pain. And so imagine going through that multiple times, over the span of like 4 years. It was like, what am I doing? I had to at one point sit down. And I've been doing that now. Sit down and really unpack and understand like what it is with me that I'm, one, attracting these people, two, accepting this behavior, and three, feeling as though I like deserve it, or as though I'm to blame or they're to blame. Like, just had to really, really unpack that. Okay, like truly, because that within itself was a lot. Okay, so while I'm in these relationships, I'm in high school, middle school. Not middle school. I didn't have a relationship in middle school. High school and like graduating, I lost my grandma in 2020, and then I lost my other grandma. I believe that was 2021. Back to back. That was so hard. That was so hard, and it's still hard to this day. Like, just thinking about the fact that like I don't have grandmothers. Like, that is such a huge part of a young woman's life, and a huge part of a child's life, period. Not even just me being a young woman, but to have your grandparents it's a beautiful bond. Like, it's a beautiful relationship to have, and it's something that should be cherished. And so to not have that, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so I'm like 18, 19, like going through these huge changes and these unhealthy relationships, unpacking these unhealthy relationships. Like, in school, then when I graduated, I decided I was not going to go to college. So that within itself was a whole thing as well. So I'm going through a lot internally. I'm like, and then I'm losing friends from high school. I'm like cutting people off. I'm distancing myself, getting into huge fallouts with people like that I did not want. I am not somebody that's confrontational. 1, 2, I don't like drama. 3, I have had like people pleasing tendencies. I've, been fortunate to be able to work through that and heal that somewhat. But growing up, I had people pleasing tendencies bad. So like, somebody, when it comes to manipulating me, it was not that hard. Like, when it comes to like making me feel bad for anything, feel bad for my boundaries, feel bad for things that I didn't want to do, whatever, it was not hard to do because I wanted just people to be happy around me. Again, if we go back to the things that I experienced and how I felt like kind of left out and feeling like lonely and that I didn't really have a place, I always wanted to make people feel like they had a place. I always, like in relationships and friendships, in life, period, I always make it a priority to allow people to feel like they can be themselves, allow people to feel like they can really confide in me, and feel loved. Like, I just always, that's like always my number one priority when it comes to my relationships. But in turn, I had to learn how to, set boundaries, of course, how to, just really prioritize myself. And that was the thing. And so, oh my goodness, you can only imagine how many things happen just having a lack of boundaries, having a lack of speaking up for myself. It allowed people to really walk all over me. And, it was hard. It was really hard. And I felt really hurt a lot. Not even just like, this is, y'all, some of this is not like in the far past. There's things that have been in the far past, but there's also things that I had gone through just recently this past year. Like, so many times feeling like, again, people didn't understand. People didn't care to really see me for me, didn't really love me for me. And going through all that, I'm 20. I'm about to turn 21 in March, but I'm 20. Like, I'm pretty young, and having to navigate all that, and not even just at this age being 20, but like 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, just been going through things, 14, 13, 12, 11, 8, 7, like been going through like all these different life lessons and curveballs and stuff. it's been a lot. Like, there's been so many times I've cried, so many times I've prayed to God, just like, I don't know what's going on, but I can't. Literally. Like, there's been so many times that I've just really felt weak. Like, really, like I had nowhere else to turn. And so, yeah, even after graduating, I want to speak a little bit on like my decision to not go to school. That was a big thing because majority of my family like are all college educated, all have degrees. My mom, my dad have degrees. My aunties, my uncle, like most of the people in my family, educated down. Like they got degrees, they take that path. You know, from high school, they go to college, they go, you know, get married, have the kids. Like it's like the, you know, regular life path type, I guess, that we're pushed on as a society. And so I decided not to go because I just, for whatever reason, y'all, I don't, and it might have been a combination of like just experiencing what I experienced in high school, middle school, all that. But I also had this thing where not only did I not fit in, well, feel like I fit in with like my friends or whatever the case, people around me, my peers. I don't want to say my friends because not all my friends, but my peers, I guess. I also always felt like I didn't fit in as like a student. Like I didn't like the system. I did not like that you were like from a young age, y'all. I did not like school. I did not like school. I love to learn. I would say that I'm a pretty knowledgeable person, but I did not like school. And I never felt like good enough when it comes to grades. Like I struggled a lot in high school. I don't know what grade point average I had. I probably had like a 3 point. I was an average student. I would say probably like a 3.56. I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I was average. I was not a straight A student, and I tried so hard to be that mold, like fit into that, but I just could not. It was a struggle for me. I felt like I don't know, y'all. I don't know. High school was the worst for me because that's when people get a little bit more serious. Obviously, you're trying to get into college, so you're more serious about like the clubs you take, the classes you take, your grades. It's more serious because it's like your grade point average in high school can determine what college you get into, what scholarships you can get into. So everything was just so strategic and planned and systematic, and I just hated it. I hated everything. I'm like, why are we not doing clubs? Because we want to do them and because we love to, like. And not to say that people didn't do things because they didn't want to do them, but a lot of things, again, were just so you could, kind of be on the straight and narrow path of like having everything in line, having your ducks in a row so you can get into a good school, get a good degree, you get a good job, you can start a family. Like, that's really the end goal. Like, that's like the path. And so when I had felt like, I don't want to do that, it was really scary. And I was just like, why do I feel this way? Like, why do I, why am I making this decision? But now I have come to deeply understand like everything, y'all. Like full circle. And that's why I really wanted to make this video today, because I'm realizing how like through all of the stuff I just told y'all and like all the things that I've been through, I have almost always come out and I don't look like what I've been through. I don't feel like I've ever, there have been times where I have wallowed in it, and there have been times, again, like I said, I've been depressed at times. There have been times where I've really struggled with anxiety, times that I've really been low. But I will say that I do not let my circumstances or things that I've been through hold me back, or I guess shape who it is that I am as a person in my mind. And it's really, really easy to do that. But that's why I want to make this video, because I want to help anybody that might be feeling like I'm in a low point. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what I'm doing, whatever, anything like that, because it is possible for you to, we've heard it all the time, like people that have rags to riches stories, but it's very possible for you to have undesirable circumstances, have gone through a lot in your life, have experienced a lot of pain, loneliness, anxiety, whatever you've been through. It's very possible to go from that to experiencing joy, to experiencing peace, to having boundaries, to not letting people manipulate you or try to lower your standards, because that's happened to me a lot too. Like, it's very, very possible to have happiness, even if that's not what you've experienced. And even if you have experienced it, but it's not like a consistent thing, it's possible for you to get to a point where you really do love your life, you enjoy your life, you are grateful, you're happy with where you are. Promise you, okay? That's why I want to talk about it, okay? So, next thing I want to get into is the ingredients to, I guess, transmute energies that are undesirable that you have in your life, that have happened, whatever, and turn them into something amazing and beautiful that works for you, okay? So number one thing, y'all, we already at 25 minutes. I'm so sorry. My life story took a lot of time. But so the first thing I have on here is that you should feel, okay? Do not suppress your emotions. If you've gone through something that is really traumatizing, the last thing you want to do is act like it didn't happen, act like it didn't hurt you, pretend like you're okay when you are not, okay? And so, yes, I would definitely always suggest like therapy helps, journaling, all that other stuff. I'm going to get into things that I do to transmute my energy. But number one thing, always feel. Feel what you need to feel. Cry until you cannot cry no more. Scream, okay? Whatever you need to do, like, do what you have to do in order to release, because that's essentially, not only do you want to feel, but you want to release what it is that you are already experiencing and feeling. Okay, sun is going down. Okay. So then the second thing I have on here is to reflect. After you've done all the crying, the screaming, the journaling, the yelling, the being mad, whatever you needed to do, releasing, okay, you have to reflect, okay? You have to look back, even if it's uncomfortable, look back at the situations in all of its entirety, okay? Because from then, you are going to want to assess the traits that you have now, the blessings that you have aligned with, and the lessons you learned had you not endured said circumstances that you're trying to, transmute or I guess alchemize. So you want to really look at, okay, I went through this, I went through that. Who am I today? And what do I have right now as a result of that? Okay, so for me, I would say right now, some of the traits that I have is like, I have a lot more patience. I don't have as many expectations on people, on situations. I don't expect anybody to, I guess, be something that they don't show me to be. Like, anyway, that I will also say that I have more wisdom. That's a huge one. When you go through certain things, you just have more wisdom. You have more tools that you need to, I guess, go forward in your life had you not gone through whatever it was. Okay, and then I will also have on here, take accountability, okay? If possible. Not everything requires you to take accountability, and this is not blaming yourself, okay? Accountability and blaming are two different things. Accountability is just saying, okay, there are certain things that we are not in control of, and there are certain things that we had an option to choose or not choose. For me, I would say I definitely had to take accountability when it came to like my relationships, when it came to certain jobs that I've taken that I know I shouldn't have, or people that I've been with that I know like it's not for me. Like I've had to take accountability. I've had to take accountability for ignoring certain things and people, for just trying to make things that something that they're not. And so I've had to take accountability in my life for certain things as well. And again, that's not blaming myself. It's just saying, okay, I saw that, but I chose to proceed. And so that's why I am here the way I am. Next time, I'm not going to do that. So that's accountability. It doesn't have to include shame. Doesn't have to include guilt. Like, it's really just assessing, okay, what choice did I make and how did it what was the outcome, and how can I take something from that moving forward, basically, okay? And so then after that, I would say, I guess the fourth thing is to channel all of that, the lessons, the pain, the hardship, the experiences, the trauma, whatever it is, channel that into something that you are passionate about. Okay, so if you're an artist, put it in your art. If you want to be a content creator, you want to make videos, whatever, talk about what you've been through. Like, you don't have to make that the focal point of what you want to do, but if that's what it is that you're passionate about, take that and incorporate it into what you love to do. If you are a singer, an actor, I don't know, you're a student, I don't know, whatever the case is, whatever it is that you're working towards, that you're passionate about, take all of that and use that as drive and motivation that you can get through whatever it is you know, are doing in your life. You can get through any hardship, any challenge, because you have before. Okay. And so let that be motivation to go for it. Go for the things that it is that you are passionate about, that you love to do, that you're good at, whatever the case may be. Okay. Okay, so yeah, and essentially turn your lemons into lemonade. Okay, when life gives you lemons, make your lemonade, because life is not always sweet, peachy keen, and rainbows of sunshine. It's gonna be sour. Okay, it's going to have a bitter taste. It's not going to go our way all the time, but you can always take what you've been through and make you some lemonade. Okay, make it sweet, make it work for you in that moment in time. Okay, I'm using lemons because that's the theme, but like, you can take what you've been through and create it into something that works for you, like I said before, and something that is honestly beautiful. And you can get to a point where you can see that your life really is like a beautiful mosaic of all of the things you've been through. Like, imagine like certain pain, certain hurts, certain trials that you've endured. Imagine that being like, I don't know if y'all have ever seen little please tell me y'all have seen the little videos on TikTok where people will like break off the glass to make some people make wind chimes. They make, what is the actual art of, is it glass? It's not glass blowing, it's making mosaics. So people will like take their glass one by one, piece by piece, and they'll break it off of like a slab of glass, and then they'll put it together and they weld it together. They put the little liquid down and they weld it together. Anyway, if you look at your life in that way, and in the end it has like a beautiful, like, I don't know, hummingbird in it. Like most like, for some reason, most mosaics that I've seen, or like mosaics different. I'm thinking of glass art, because a mosaic use clay, right? I'm pretty sure you put the glass in clay and then you put it in a kiln. Y'all know what I'm trying to say, okay? Just pretend that the little broken pieces of glass or broken pieces create something beautiful in the long run, because it really does. Even if you don't see it, eventually you will see it and you will understand, okay, that's why this happened, or this is what I've learned that I can use moving forwards for the things that I want to do, or that I'm good at doing, or I'm passionate about doing. Okay, so I also want to share, last thing, I want to share some things that I do that allow me to transmute uncomfortable energies or uncomfortable emotions, whatever you want to call it. Okay, my biggest thing, y'all, talk about this all the time, I probably talk about this in every video, is I journal as much as I can. I actually have my journal right here. This is my journal for 2022. I just started it. So I journal. This is a big thing for me. I also go to the gym, and y'all, I don't always like going to the gym. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but it does make me feel better, especially running, and especially just thinking of it in a way where I'm showing up for myself. I'm not necessarily thinking about, oh, the outcome and like how I can look and all that other stuff. I'm thinking about, this is gonna make me feel better, this is gonna make me healthier in the long run, and it's gonna allow me to be able to walk when I'm 60, 70, 80. Okay, that's what I think about. It's gonna allow me to have healthier organs, healthy lungs, all that. Okay, that's what I think about nowadays when I go to the gym. So that helps me a lot. And y'all, I lift, so when I'm mad, when I'm upset, if I think about something that makes me mad or upset, when I had a day that was stressful, if I have a day that I was just emotional, I can go pick up that barbell and everything that I'm feeling, I channel it into my strength. I channel it into lifting. And again, I don't always feel like doing it. I don't always feel like going to honor my body for whatever I'm feeling that day. I don't always lift super heavy. I don't always feel like lifting, period. But that is something, movement for your body, period, is something that really, really, really helps when it comes to transmuting energies. And eventually you do see a difference. You see a change in the way you think. You see a change in the way you carry yourself, the way you might look. Okay? So yeah. Another big thing, I already talked about this a little bit when I was speaking on like things I've been through, but my channel, y'all, I look forward to going live. I don't care how many people watching and listening, whatever. I don't care. I love doing this. This is so fun for me. This has been my outlet for literally since I was 15 years old, and I'm so grateful to have something like this. It's so therapeutic. It is amazing to connect with people that have been through the same things, that have, told me like, oh, I needed this, or I, love the way you, whatever. It's so nice. It's so nice. And I love each and every person that has watched so far, and even just seeing people that have like been here since I was 15. I'm 20 now. Like, it's so beautiful. And so YouTube has been the biggest thing for me, transmuting energies, being able to come on here and tell y'all what I've been through, tell y'all what I'm feeling, cry if I need to. It helps me a lot with being vulnerable, like connecting with other people. Like, this is my dose of social interaction. I don't have the most social interaction all the time, but I love being on here and just talking to y'all and just being myself. Like, I've changed so much, and like y'all have been so receptive to like my readings and stuff like that, and it's so nice. So that's been a big thing for me. Another thing is makeup. If you're a girly girl, or if you're not a girly girl, if you're a girly like me, I would highly recommend, like, if you're interested, do your makeup. Okay, even if you don't have anywhere to go, just expressing yourself creatively in that way, practicing, being able to treat your face like a canvas, like a masterpiece, being gentle, taking your time. It is so amazing, and it makes you look, it enhances your features already. So that's a beautiful way that you can transmute energy. I used to do that a lot more when I was in high school. Like, I would just like literally randomly, if I didn't have plans even, I would just get out my makeup brushes, get out my palettes, and I would get to work. I would just start doing my makeup. Sometimes I would film a video while I'm doing my makeup. Like, it was just something that I did because it allowed me to get my mind off of anything that I might not have been wanting to think about or needing to think about. Like, it's so therapeutic. That's the main thing. Okay, another thing that I love is bubble baths. Okay, I'm a bubble bath girl. I love to take a bath. It is so relaxing. Also, if you know anything about spiritual baths, they're not only good for you physically, like to relieve tension and muscles and stuff like that, but they're also good spiritually if you're trying to do like a cleanse, or if you're trying to manifest or whatever. You can use baths to do that, and I can make a video on that if y'all are interested. But I love to take a spiritual bath. I love to take a bubble bath because, like I said, I lift. So y'all put in that Epsom salt. Oh, it's so good. It's so freaking good. I should take a bath tonight, honestly. I'm just thinking about it. Okay, another few things. I love to explore. I love to go around my city, try different food spots. I love to try different parks. I'm a big park girl, so just going and visiting different parks. I love to explore. Like, I just love it. I love traveling as well, something I'm trying to get into more this year. And just overall changing my surroundings, because it's easy to think that, like, it's easy to get caught up in your world of like being at home, being at school, being at work, whatever. But it's so nice to get into a change of scenery and to get into a different environment, because it allows you to see the bigger picture, in turn allowing you to see the bigger picture of your life. Like, there's more to life than your normal day-to-day routine surroundings. Like, it's so nice to be able to connect with Mother Nature. It's so nice to be able to try different foods, meet different people, see different things. It's amazing. So that helps me a lot too. Reading, okay, that's been a big one. I've been a huge reader. Even when I was little, I was a big reader, and that allows you to like literally, especially if you love fiction books, it allows you to literally go into like a whole different world most of the time. So reading helps a lot, and watching cartoons, y'all. Last one, but I love a good cartoon. I am always watching cartoons. My mom hates cartoons, and every time I'm watching the cartoon, she's like, "Oh, you watching a cartoon? You're not watching a movie." Like she doesn't think they're the same. But anyway, I love a good cartoon. I will watch a cartoon if I'm like feeling really down, because it reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of me being a kid, but it also allows me to again just look at the bigger picture of things and know that I can, laugh and see something colorful or cute or whatever. Like it's just great. I don't know. I love watching cartoons, and all of those things, y'all. That has been like a little part of like what helps me to transmute energies, and like if I practice them consistently, of course, also my cards, giving myself readings, scripture. I have a little Bible app. I do be reading the Bible sometimes. That helps me a lot too. Like it just helps me uplift my spirits. And I'm really big on prayer. Huge thing for me. So that's a little bit more of what I like have used, I guess, over the span of like my whole life, of like things that uplift my energy, my vibration, and allow me to take things that are not the most comfortable, the not most desirable, and turn them into something that is, I guess, more desirable, more happy, more upbeat, more uplifting, because that is really what you have to do at times. Like you can stay in sadness and suffer and all those other things, or you can try to shift your perspective and see the bigger picture of things and see how really life really is working out for you at all times, even when you don't feel like it. And again, like you kind of have the option to choose either or. I think that is always necessary to be in those low spots as well too, because when you're low, what is that? There's so many quotes about like peaks and valleys and being low and being high and stuff. I can't think of the specific one, but it basically like essentially when you have an experience, I guess the valley, when you're at your peak, like you just appreciate it so much more. You really truly do, versus when you like, I don't know, I guess it just depends on the person, but for me, I would say that I appreciate and value things so much more, like good things so much more, when I've experienced a lot of bad things, because you know what it's like to have bad. So when you do come along something that's good, something that feeds you, something that's fulfilling, something that's peaceful, loving, if you appreciate it so much more, because you know how it feels to have the opposite. Like you know what it's like to be in a low place, to not be heard, to not be seen, to not feel loved, all those different things that you might experience throughout your lifetime. Like it's so, and that's why I say it's just a really like a full circle thing, because there are moments in your life too where you will be able to say, dang, that's what that was for, or that's what that was about. Like, because look at where I'm at, look at how much I've progressed, look at what I've learned. Like it's so beautiful to be able to have that full circle moment, and I think it happens on purpose, because then God's like, okay, so are you going to trust? Are you going to have faith? Are you going to keep going now that you see what you're gaining along the way? So I'm like, I guess, and even if you don't believe in God, like understand and know that what you're going through is not in vain, and that even if you just look at yesterday compared to today, it's so much different. Every day you wake up is going to be different. You're going to experience different things. You are going to have different challenges. You're going to have different blessings. It's going to be a culmination of multiple different experiences that you'll have. But at the end of the day, we're still here. There are still things that we can do to, again, alchemize our circumstance, to transmute certain energies. And that's really that's what it comes down to. That's what it's about. Okay, that's what it's about. So yeah, that's really all I have. This was not planned to be this long. I'm not gonna do a reading today. I might come on this week and try to do a weekly reading, or like a little random reading. Normally I would do like a weekly oracle reading, but because today's video was going on for so long, we're not gonna get into that, okay? But yes, y'all, that is all I really had. I am so grateful if you watched this entire thing. I hope that you can just take away from this video that you are powerful. You have the power to transform your life into everything that you want it to be, regardless of what you've been through, regardless of the things that you've heard other people say to you, regardless of the pain that you felt, regardless of the times you might not have wanted to be here, okay? You deserve to be here. You are loved. You are going to have everything that it is that you desire in this life, okay? If you keep believing in them, you keep putting in the work, I promise you will make it to the other side, okay? So yeah, I just wanted to remind you that if you needed to hear that. And that is all I have for today. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day, morning, evening, whatever you're watching. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!